This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Of course, I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk podcast. For those who are going to catch us on a rerun, make sure you hit that like button. It's free, it's easy, it don't cost a thing. And with me, I have a guy who knows his Eagle football. Shout out to Brendan. Go ahead and introduce yourself for the people who don't know you on Twitter.
What's going on? My name is Brendan D., writer for the National Football Post, and big Eagles fan, and love to chat Eagles on Twitter. You can follow me below. You can see it there, Brendan D. NFP. And yeah, man, thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to this.
No problem. Like he said, he writes about the whole NFL, but he got a special place in his heart for the Birds and, you know, gambling advice, all that good stuff. You want to beat your sports book? Maybe you should pay attention to the National Football Post.
There you go.
We got some training camp and preseason to talk about, and preseason ain't over, but I kind of wish it was the route we're going. It don't look like we're going to see the starters. Who knows? What is your general take on the camp camp talk we're getting compared to the preseason game? And does that bother you that we're not playing some of the guys more snaps?
No, I actually did. Once Jalen Hurts on that first drive of the first game against Pittsburgh, I wouldn't have played him a snap after that. Like, I'm not a fan. I've kind of like the way Brandon Staley's doing in LA right now. He hasn't played Justin Herbert. He hasn't played Keenan Allen. None of them are playing all preseason. I think that's the way to go. It's meaningless football. Like, I get both sides to it, but the way I look at it is, look, Baltimore Ravens are 19-0 in preseason. Like, they win every game. And does that have they won any Super Bowls since then? No. Like, it goes both ways, right? If you want to play guys, sure, it can work. If you don't want to, sure, it can work. To me, there's just pick whatever you think is better for your team and your philosophy and go and just stick to that. And my philosophy is don't play these guys as meaningless football. And some people get something out of it. Like, if they want to install new stuff, that they need to play their starters to do that, use preseason as like an install base. Some use just practice for that. I get both sides. But no, once Jalen Hurts, I think, yeah, it went 2 for 4 on that drive. Should have been 4 for 4. I think Ertz and someone else had a drop. I can't remember exactly. But I was tweeting, I'm like, get him out of there. It's done. We saw Hurts. He can throw the ball. He looks fine. We don't need to see anything else. So I'm of that belief. And I don't think, look, I think what preseason kind of has nailed down for me is this team doesn't have much depth. And I already knew that. Like, it didn't take a genius to know that going into preseason. Like, they have, if they stay healthy, they have a good starting offense and a good starting defense potentially. Depending on the quarterback play, and then their defense, like none of the starting defensive line played in the second preseason game. Like none of them. Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jayvon Hargrave, none of them were suited up. So, like, how are you supposed to win a football game and look good if you got your second string D line going against the first string O line? And the Patriots played all their starters too, right? So that's why, of course, they should be kicking our butts. That's how it should be. I don't think you shouldn't take too much. But again, I did say not a lot of depth. Like, you did see like the second, third string D-line kind of get bullied around. Some of the backup O-line hasn't been very good. Like Nate Herbig, Matt Pryor. I don't think Matt Pryor should make this team. Like, Nate Herbig's a guy that played a lot last year, hasn't looked very good. So a couple of dinky dunk player observations you can get from it, but don't stress, Eagles fans. Trust me. Like, just wait for week 1 and then make your judgment, okay? Just don't freak out over losing the Patriots 35-0.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I would say to the 35-0 beat down is there was once upon a time where the Patriots had their third or fourth stringers in here too, and you would just like to see something from a heart standpoint, especially guys who are on the bubble, you know, guys who are trying to make the team. You know, come on, bro, you can't throw up a goose egg, and that.
Agreed.
You know,
like, then that's the thing. I don't think there's much depth to this roster. Like, once you kind of peel off the skin, there's not a lot under it. Like, if they get hurt, like, look at it proved if Jalen Hurts gets hurt, this team's pretty screwed. If some other guys, the defensive linemen, they're not that deep. Like, they're not deep at certain positions, and that pretty much emphasizes. But I do agree. Like, it is a little disheartening to not see them at least put up some sort of points.
Yeah, especially Mullins. The fact that when he came in here, all the potential of him being somewhat decent, you know, fighting for that second spot over Flacco, he really hasn't shown me nothing. But again, the depth on offensive line and everything else played a part. But again, shout out to everybody in the chat already, and shout out to Seth with a $5 super chat. He said, "What up, Mike? This is going to be a light stream, Philly. Mike, did you see Hurts and Smitty today? Get the dog head mask out, baby." Yes. So as you just talked about how we should just throw away the preseason, and I think that's becoming something around the league, not just what the Eagles are doing. Again, I take it as, once we saw that series for Hurts, I was cool with it. I just thought, one of these games we're going to get more of a dress rehearsal because he hasn't proven. I'm a big believer in Hurts. And what is your take on, as he just asked with the $5 super chat, Smith and Hurts in the joint practices, the 2 days in New Jersey, where we heard, we beat up on them pretty bad. Defense dominated, but so did Devontae, Quez, Hurts, and the offense. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's intriguing. It's good to see Devonta Smith. Like, even you can see some some tape, some videos on Twitter and stuff of his routes that he's running in the one-on-ones and in team drills. Looks awesome, looks the part. Yeah, it's very encouraging. The one thing I will say about the Jets joint practices is, especially in the offense, the Jets. We just did our divisional previews on my podcast. We broke down every division, and I had the Jets. So we each have two teams in division. Jets were one of the teams that I had. And their cornerback room is not very deep at all. Like, they have the worst cornerbacks in the NFL, bar none. Like, the room, bar none. I bet you couldn't even. I didn't even know their names until I did the research for the podcast. There's Bryce Hall's one, not the TikToker. There's actually a Bryce Hall cornerback. They have Bless Austin. Like, they're guys that you've never heard of. So it's encouraging to see them beat up on these corners. But again, they should be that's what they should be doing. But the Hurts, it's very encouraging to see Hurts look good in training camp, and it looks like his passing's been well. I saw some stats today. I know it's training camp stats. He's 11 or 13 for 17 with 5 touchdowns, no picks, something along those lines. Don't quote me on the exact stats. That's encouraging to see that his passing game's there. It's just when it comes to live, it's different. Like, there's no sacking, and there's no sacks. You can't just crush Hurts, right? You can't just hit him. So that takes away a different aspect out of it. But yeah, definitely encouraging to see. And yeah, the young wide receivers, Smith, Watkins, and Rager. I don't think I've been excited for a trio of wide receivers, or just in general the wide receiver room, in a long time in Philly. I can't remember since the last time they've had this group good of a room. I think I wasn't very excited. I was sure Alshon, Aguilar, and there was that one a few years ago where everyone was kind of hyped up. They didn't have a nickname. It was Alshon. DNA. Yeah. So that one didn't work out too well. But I still think I wasn't as high on them as I am now. This trio, they're young, they're fast, they're exciting, and they spend high draft picks on them. So it's exciting to kind of see how this all plays out.
Yeah, and to the Smith and Hurts comment, you want to see it. You want to see your go-to receiver and quarterback, the leader of your team, get a connection in camp. That's where you can get that. Back in the day, we got that in preseason games. You got it for a snap or two. And just like you said, Jalen Hurts, that rollout pass against the Jets to Quez Watkins, where he threw it off his back foot, that is a pretty pass. But who's to say if that lineman is in a game, he doesn't stretch out and get at him before? And that is what I want to see Jalen Hurts take a little bit of. Just, there's been some reports that he's holding the ball a little longer than he should at times, and that he can get away with in the camp, not so much in preseason. I do not want to risk his health at all, but I prefer to see some type of dress rehearsal, why not against a Jets team that you could really go out there and get some confidence in, because we will have 2 weeks off before the season starts. And ATL is a team that you could really beat up on when it comes to their secondary as well. So, if you did your thing, I don't think ATL was high up on the list of cornerbacks. So I'm thinking you can go in after beating up on the Jets with some confidence in the week 1. But Nick Sirianni's, so you're all about exactly what Nick Sirianni's doing this preseason, and you said not play your starters. Why do you think he played the starting wide receivers with the backup O-line and no Hurts? Why didn't just pull what was your take on that decision in particular to play Devontae Smith, who's coming off an injury, Quez Watkins, and Jalen Rager, but not put the rest of the starters there?
I don't think he fully knows how he's going to use his receivers yet, so I think that's why. And he's a receivers coach, so I feel like that might. I don't know if there's something to that. It's a really good question. I never really kind of thought of it that way. The taking out Kelsey, Lane, and Brooks is fine. They're over 30. The only reason they were going to play anyways is because of Hurts. They wanted to protect him. Once he was out, there was no point. And you need those three guys. Those are like the three most important. You can argue besides Jalen Hurts, Brandon Brooks, Jason Kelsey, and Lane Johnson, if the Eagles want to have any sort of success this year, those three guys need to be on the field. So, and I think it's because like he probably wanted to see what he has. He still doesn't know how good the trio could be. Like you still have Travis Fulgham lingering there, right? Like there's still other options. You can run a lot of 12 personnel. If you don't, like, let's say you only have trust in two of the receivers, you can run Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. You can run multiple running backs. I think he's just trying to see exactly what he has in Rager. And I think Smith probably pushed the Eagles to play more than I think they probably didn't care if he played. I think Smith is a baller. He wanted to get on the field. I think that had a lot to do with it. And I think he just wanted to see more of what Rager and Watkins could do. Like Watkins has looked so good in training camp, and it's just a kind of a flash out of nowhere. So you still want to see if you can. Hey, let's see if you can do it in this preseason game. The thing just with Hurts is like you already know he's your starting quarterback, so why even risk it? That's the big thing. In my opinion, there's zero point of doing it. Like I don't think Hurts has had a confidence problem at all. I don't think that's ever been his issue. He looks confident. He's got that swagger to him, and that's something that I like about him. That you hear these stories from like telling people on the bus, like, oh, I'm in the zone to this practice. Like, I just think if he goes down and those three offensive linemen go down, this team is so screwed. So there's just no risk in doing it. But you do bring, like, I probably wouldn't have played those receivers. That's just how I would have done it. But I just think he couldn't help himself. He's a receivers coach, and he still doesn't know who should be on the field at what time and what should be his main offensive group that he has out. 12 personnel. Should he have 2 running backs, 3 receivers? He's probably still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, and I agree there. I'm excited to see some 2-back sets, or whatever you call it, pony speed 21, whatever it's called, because of the fact that Jalen Hurts, one of his best attributes is his legs. And when you have 2 backs there that are fast, the RPO, all that stuff plays in a big part. But this is something I want to ask you. I do want to get into the biggest takeaways. And we know Quez is one of them guys. Question for you. He said, who was it today that said, look who's playing with the starting team? That's your starters? I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't heard that. I haven't seen that one before.
But I want the chat to answer this too, because I am curious to see what the chat says. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you hit that like button. What is your take on extended Dillard? Whoa. Extended Mulata before the season, mid-season, or after the season, for the simple fact that 3 years he came a long way. Brian Boldigger's big on him. A lot of the guys who break down film is huge on him. I am, and so is Eagle Nation. Now, here's the thing. He's making like $850K right now. If Howie comes to him and tries to break it down, like, listen, take this 2 to 3 year deal, right? Which for decent money, left tackles are supposed to get paid. They get paid the most on the line. So take 2 to 3 year deal, decent money. And if you show us that you are the man, we will extend you longer. Because look, and I'm taking this from 97.5 and Fanatic because I listened to him today, but look at how we treat left tackles. Trey Thomas was there for 12 years. And then Jason Peters, we kept this man till he was 38 years old. Yeah. We gave this man money. So Howie Roseman, whether you love him or hate him, he just got voted as the least trustworthy GM. But there's certain positions he does take care of, and left tackle is one. So with that being said, I do think because Dillard's only making $850K, and you never know what can happen in this league, he might take a $6 to $7 million year contract, because $7 million, $850K. But if he balls out, now you're looking like 13, 14. What would you do? As I see what the chat says, would you extend him now, middle, or at the end and risk it?
I'd try. If I was Howie, I'd be knocking on going to his locker room right after practice. Hey, come talk to me. Let's try something. Try to negotiate something. Look, it's tough. Like, what if he plays like the 5th best left tackle in the league this year? And I don't think that's crazy. Like, that's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities, right? That he is a top 5 left tackle. He has the upside. He's huge. One of the biggest, most athletic humans on earth, and he's on the Eagles. Like, I don't know how else to put it in perspective. So he has potential to be top 5. However, he does have potential to be average, and who knows? Maybe he's a bottom 10. Like, he has such a wide range of outcomes right now that he doesn't know if he should bet on himself. And if I'm the Eagles, I would try to get him paid like maybe the 12th or 13th. 11th. I haven't really dug into the exact numbers, but if I'm the Eagles, I wouldn't. It would be tough to pay him top 10 money, because if you get into like a 4-year, if you get into a long-term contract, which I'm assuming he would want if he's signing early, just for the keep just to be safe, like you got paid now, like you don't want to bank on yourself later on. So I'm assuming that's what he would want. Like again, I don't know how his backstory, if he's looking to cash in right now. There's a lot of variables to it, but if I was Howie, I would 100% be knocking on his door and trying to see if I can get a deal early, because you don't want to be paying, like they have so much money tied up already in that offensive line. So if you want to be paying this guy top 5 tackle money after the season, because you have to pay him. If he is a top 5 tackle, you don't let those guys out the door. You pay them what their asking prices. Like that's why you never see like tackles on the free agent market. They teams don't let them go, right? Like you don't, once you have them in the building, you pay them. So it's a tough decision to make. I would try, but what number is the cutoff point is the big question. And I haven't done my research on what like the 11th or 12th highest paid tackle in the NFL is. So I'd have to look that up. But yeah, 100%, I would definitely try and work something out right now.
Well, let's just go off this. We signed Jason Peters to play right guard once Brandon Brooks went down last year. Remember that? And then when something bad happened to the left tackle position, we did go ahead and offer Jason Peters a pay raise. And what do we try to pay him? Like what, $5 to $8 million per year, something like that. And so, and that was solely off his name. He got paid. I'm thinking again, Jordan Mailata can look in the mirror and plus talk to his agent and said, listen, no matter what they say, I'm betting on myself. However, $850K to 7, 8, 9 million. I'm willing to extend him now for between 7 to 9 million per year on a 2 to 3 year basis. And then if he shows us in them 2 to 3 years that he's good, I think Howie Roseman would stick with it and then give him that, $11 to $16 million, $11 to $15 million deal if he comes inside the top 10, top 7-ish type left tackle, for the simple fact that Howie Roseman, he did Zach Ertz wrong. He's done some people wrong, but there's a history of him treating left tackles the way he treats the backup quarterback.
Yeah, no, he loves his linemen, man. He loves his linemen. Like he's proven that since he's been here. He's obsessed with the trenches. So I just take a look at overthecap.com right now. So Deion Dawkins, for instance, just signed an extension with the Bills this offseason. He's paying $14.5 million, and he is the 11th paid tackle, highest paid tackle in the NFL. So like that's, if you're Jordan Mailata, you're starting there. Like that's where your negotiations begin. So are you ready to pay Jordan Mailata $14 million a year? Like that's, if I was in Mailata's camp, if I was his agent, I'd probably start there. Like maybe a little less, but like I think if I'm him, I'd probably bet on myself. Like I think he's got confidence, and I think I have a lot of confidence in him too this year. Like I do think he can be a top 10 tackle, and I think he will be. And I think this offense is going to help him out a lot. Like I think they're going to get on the move a lot. I think that's where he's at his best, when he's getting a full head of steam. Like I do think that Jordan Mailata is going to be a top 10 tackle this year, and I'm fine with paying him top 10 tackle money when he proves that. Like you don't want those guys out the door.
Yeah, the 11th guy getting 14 mil. That's crazy. The one thing
man, that position gets paid, man. They make a lot of money there if you're both up tackle.
Yeah. But like I said, because and that's where Howie Roseman, who is slick with the words, can try to play the best of both worlds by giving him a verbal agreement that we signed this 2 to 3 year extension at that okay, let's since 14 was there, at this 9 to 11 stage where it gets you, even if you are not top 10 quality, you got paid off instead of getting $850K, and then you still know 2-3 years. Guess what? When your contract is up, if you are inside that top 10, as you said, left tackles don't get let go. So here's the thing: if you bet on yourself and you do fall off, well, you were stuck with the $850K and that's it. Here you can get between 8, 9, 10, 11 million. Worst case scenario, that's what you got. Best case scenario, Eagles will pay you in 2 years. Legit, or the open market will pay you. Once you become a legit left tackle, the team can't do you wrong because there's 31 other teams that are willing to pay you. So there's no going backwards. But if he doesn't perform, and then he has to hit the market, and 5 to 6 million is the highest he'll ever get somewhere, well, then he kind of did himself a disjustice as well. But that is a very tough thing because of the way our cap is. And if you really look in the future, I think right now the Eagles' foreseeable future is pretty good. But so many 1-year contracts, so many back ended heavy contracts. When you look at Lane, look what Fletch is going to be making next year.
They have some decisions to make. Like some of those older guys are coming up there. Like you said, Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Brooks' cap hit is, I think, $20 million, something crazy next year too. They have some decisions to make. Like this team is going to be looking a lot different, and it's got to happen. Like you got to rip the Band-Aid off somehow. You can't keep extending. They had to do it this year. They had no choice. Their cap was so screwed. Yeah. Exactly. Like Carson Wentz's contract. And we're paying a crap ton of money, not even playing for us this year. Like this cap was not meant to get rid of their starting quarterback. Like they extended Carson Wentz so they could eat money off his contract this year, next year. Like that's how his plan was. His plan was definitely not trading him and having this big a cap hit. So they had no choice to do that this year. But yeah, they can definitely get some cap flexibility coming up next year. And yeah, they have some tough decisions to make across the offensive line. But I think you make Mailata happy. You do your best to keep him, and if he's really good, you pay him really good money. Like again, those guys don't grow on trees.
Yeah, and like you said, again, if you can really work out something, and I do think 8 to 11 million, although it's like you said, the 11th guy making 14. It's still a huge chunk of money that really you didn't do much for, because let's be honest, Mailata has like 10 starts. He didn't fill it. He didn't spot fill in certain times. He got beat for sacks because although he's a huge man with nimble feet, he still got to get a little bit better with his hands placement and things like that. But I have no doubt about it. No doubt in my mind that he will. Here's the thing though, $800K to $9 million is a big difference. And
100%.
If your agent is doing the work and saying like, bro, Jason Peters, Trey Thomas, 10-year careers. You're Australian. You're going to age great. You know what I mean? and you also can't play with him too much, because we heard him sing that Tennessee whiskey song. I mean, he might get his own album soon.
Guy's got a voice, man. He's a talented dude. Rugby, he can sing. Yeah, he's got such a cool story, man. I don't know if Bo Wolf of The Athletic wrote a story on him last year. At the beginning of the year, or it was when he kind of came in. And it was a great story. Just talk about his background. Guy didn't even know how to put on a helmet like 4 years ago. Like he literally didn't even. He put on football pads for the first time just like 4 years ago. So really cool story. Yeah. No. Again, Howie's got a ton of decisions to make this year. I think that's what this year's kind of for. Let's figure it out. What we got in Jalen Hurts at the quarterback position. It's all about that this year. See what we got, and then kind of transition forward. Like it's going to be a new wave of Eagles football after this year for sure.
Yeah, and with that being said, because Mailata had great camp, we heard Jayvon Hargrave had a great camp. But what is your full take on Quez Watkins' breakout? Do you think it's more of a training camp? The receivers for the Eagles is not that deep, a flash in the pan, because we saw Travis Fulgham for 4 games last year. Do you think Quez can be a solidified receiver for the Eagles, week by week?
100%. I would slow down on like the route running and like how good of maybe an outside receiver he is right now. I consider him more as a weapon, but like right now, just like again, the training camp is great. Like it looks good, and that's encouraging. It's just he hasn't proven he can be an outside receiver yet. He's got a really skinny frame. I hate to say it. Like when they drafted him in the 6th round, I do remember kind of thinking to myself, this guy can't go through the middle. Like he's going to get crushed, but like he's put on a little bit of weight. He has to prove that. But at the end of the day, 4.34 speed. I'm looking right now. He had the third fastest time in the 40 last year. I was trying to figure out exactly what time. He went at 4.35. At some point, 4.3. Quez Watkins.
I know Henry Ruggs was faster than him, but who was his second then?
Jayvon Goudry. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But
I even know that guy existed.
I don't know. I've never heard of him. I don't know. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. But anyways, 4.35 speed at one point. At some point, it's 4.35 speed. He's got it, and he's proven it. Like it looks the part. Like that touchdown in Arizona last year, the touchdown in the preseason against Pittsburgh. He's got the speed. So I think he needs to be on the field a lot. How good of an outside receiver he is, that's what I'm not like going to put my eggs in that basket just yet. You got to prove that. You got to be able to prove to get separation outside those against bigger physical corners. That's what worries me. Like if he goes up against a guy that's going to be in his face, how much separation can he get? But I do think his speed is dangerous. I do think he needs to be on the field, and it's very encouraging to see how good he's playing just as an outside receiver. Again, I don't know what his ceiling is, but he needs to have the ball. He needs to get the ball in his hands at least 8 times, 10 times a game. Like, try your best to do it. Like, this guy with the ball in his hands is dangerous. Like, you saw his speed. Pittsburgh is like stupid speed. Like, when he's going, and he's the fastest player on the football field when he's on the field. So that's how I would think of him right now. I'm hitting the brakes on like him being like a second receiver on this team. We just don't know that yet.
According to Joey Z, I think he's a Jets
corner.
There
you go.
Cool. But yeah, so that's my take. Look, I have a video, before the draft. I did a video called 5 Guys That Impressed Me at the Combine. I talked about Denzel Mims. I talked about Duvernay, Jefferson, Ruggs. And yes, before anybody was saying it, and there was an Eagle content creators all came on. I got shout to LB and stuff. But I got the receipt too, man. Check. I have 5 guys that impressed me. And I said, who's this guy, Quez Watkins? Mm-hmm. Golden Eagle, possible, Philly Eagle. And I have, videos of that possible being 5th or 6th round. I was kind of worried that his speed could push him up to a 4th, even though, it didn't, because, the league is going fast. Like, look at John Ross. He got drafted solely off his speed pretty much. But Quez putting on rate. Quez working out with wide receiver specialists, working out with Calvin Ridley that we heard today.
Yeah, like that's encouraging. Like, that's what he should be doing, and it sounds like he's putting the work this offseason, and he looks good. It's just like I need to see it in a couple games before I'm gonna But if he can put it together, like the speed, if he can put together how to just separate and press coverage, if he can get that all together, like the speed is there. Like, he's got a lot of upside. Like, if that makes sense, like his upside could be like a number 1, number 2 receiver in the league if he can kind of just put it all together. And it looks like he's doing the part so far.
Yeah, and to press him, you better have a corner over the top, because if you make one mistake, he's gone.
Yeah.
But I will say this, though. I do love the fact that we saw the live practice, go up and get a 50-50 ball over Anthony Harris, over a Jets defender, whether he stinks or not. He was right there to contest. And so that is something you want to see from a guy who's possibly going to bounce out to the outside. But as Quez said, he's going to play some slot, some outside. Same with Devontae, same with Jalen Reagor. And Jalen Reagor is a guy who's low-key can go up and get a 50-50 ball. You don't really think that about him because of him being a smaller guy, but he has a 43-inch vertical.
Yeah,
if you look at his highlights in TCU, they're throwing fade routes to him. What other 5'11" wide receiver gets a fade route in the end zone to him? That's not his bread and butter. And I think last year we used him in situations where it made him look like just a type of guy. You definitely got to put some of these guys in a better position to succeed. And that's where I think Nick Sirianni's whole bread and butter is going to come from, being a wide receiver who, Keenan Allen's a stud, but he had his best year under Nick Sirianni. Just the fact that he preaches fundamentals to the wide receivers, I'm definitely loving it. But if I had to ask you overall, everything from the whole preseason training camp situation, what is your biggest takeaway off the top of your head?
I really like what I'm hearing about the offensive line and defensive lines, and it's kind of shared my opinion. We did our NFC East podcast, and I said I'm not fully ready to kind of give my Eagles take yet. I still need a few days on what how many wins they're going to have. Like, I'm still not there yet. I will say this offense has upside.
I think you froze. Let's see if he comes back on. Snackback just said Quez is low key like CD Lamb. Ooh, CD Lamb is a problem. I hate that he's a Cowboy. I'm not gonna knock it though. You know what I mean? I don't like him now because he's a Cowboy, but I'm never gonna say he's a bum just because he's a Cowboy. But listen, I do think Quez has the body frame after putting that weight on to really come into his own and be something. The fact that Devontae Smith will take the number 1 wide receiver or the number 1 corner most of the time is going to follow Devontae Smith. You probably are going to really see Quez and Reagor get so much. Don't forget, Zach Ertz on the field at times is going to be a problem too. Part of the reason why he slowed down was the simple fact that he gets the bracket coverage and none of the wide receivers do. Well,
Hey man, my bad. I don't know what happened there.
it's all right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
you were in mid talk.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't have exact. I'm not ready to predict any wins yet. Like I'm still not there yet. Need until next week. But I will say this: the more I did, like I had the Eagles when I did my division preview, and what I noticed is, look, this offense wasn't terrible with Jalen Hurts last year. It was actually okay. It was 21st in EPA per play last year compared to 31st with Carson Wentz. So they were mediocre. 21st is like, it's not great, but it's not horrible. And look, Hurts had no, like, what would Hurts have around him last year? He had a terrible O-line and he had no receivers. Like, it was a bad situation to be in. And Doug Peterson wasn't a good coach like last year. I don't want to get into this. I was getting ripped on Twitter for talking about his Hakeem Butler fade the other day. I'm like, look, he was a bad call. You're allowed to win a Super Bowl and still have bad coaching spurts. It happens.
It was horrible.
Yeah, exactly. It was a terrible call. Anyways, Doug Peterson was not a good play caller last year, in my opinion. I think he was one of the worst in the NFL. So he didn't have a lot around him. And 21st ranked offense in EPA per play. Think about it this way. Like, now his offensive line's healthy. What if they stay healthy all year? What if these Devonta Smith in this receiver group is advertised? What if Devonta Smith is literally what we all think he can be? And then, like, what if you get more juice from a guy like Quez Watkins, Jalen Rager plays well again? Like, there's so many what ifs, but that's not out of the realm of possibilities that this offense can click. Jalen Hurts just doesn't turn the ball over. They have a really good run game. Another thing too, what I've been kind of taking away from this preseason is getting Hurts on the run can be huge. If you can get him going, if you can kind of dial up an offense built around his strengths and him getting outside the pocket and getting runs with him, like, it can work. I'm not saying it needs to be like Lamar Jackson, Greg Roman style offense, but I think it can be something similar to that. And then I think there's upside there. I think there's like a top. Call me crazy. I think they could have a top, like a 10th or 9th ranked offense if it all clicks. But again, then there's the other way. What if they don't stay healthy? What if the offensive line gets banged up again? What if Jalen Hurts isn't as good as a passer and he turns the ball over a lot? Another thing too I noticed is Hurts had 9 fumbles last year. That was basically the 11 led the league, and he played in 4 games. So think of it, he would have led the league in fumbles by a mile if he played all the snaps, right? And that's not good. Like, that needs to be fixed, and it's tough.
3 of them though was when he was when he was coming in as that gadget guy, which it's still him fumbling, but it's not like him dropping back in the pocket.
And 2 of them were bad snaps. 2 of them were Kelsey bad snaps. So let's say 7, you get rid of the bad snaps. Like, there's circumstance behind every fumble, but anyways, he needs to clean that up. So like there's a scenario where he turns the ball over, the offensive line gets hurt. Jalen Rager and Quez Watkins are training camp, or Watkins a training camp wonder. Rager never doesn't separate again, sort of last year. And Devonta Smith, maybe your only good offensive player. Like, I think there's a wide range of outcomes with this offense. So it's tough to predict, but it's not crazy to like, I can't believe I'm talking myself into this having a good offense, but it's not crazy to think that.
Yeah, because like, look, let's just exactly say. So let's go that route that you just said. Say Jalen Hurts is turning the ball over. Say the offensive line is not healthy. Say the wide receivers are not as good as advertised. Well, then guess what? You are a 4 or 5 win team like you were last year.
Exactly. And I thought of this today. This may sound crazy. The Eagles this year are like what the Eagles ended up being last year, but no one thought. No one thought they'd be 4-11-1 last year. No one did. And no one could tell me that you thought the Eagles were going to be 4-11-1 last year. This year, yes, I can think that. Like, I can see a scenario where that happens. Last year, I couldn't. This year, I could, and it's crazy. Like,
and that's where I think it flips. I think this is where you can see it because of the nuances and the newness of this team. But I don't think it's going to happen because
I don't think. I think there's a middle ground.
I don't think everything could go wrong. Look again. Jalen Hurts having a couple turnovers. I don't think can get as bad as Carson Wentz. No. The offensive line injuries. I don't think it can be bad as last year.
Exactly. If it does, that's great. Like, if it does, that's just bad luck. Like, injuries are typically luck. Like, they do fluctuate.
Not with the Eagles. It's just been a cloud.
That's true. That's true. But again, like, something's got to give. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're going to have the Eagles at the third most injured offense last year.
It's called a bug for a reason. It's supposed to leave you eventually. It's called the injury bug, not the injury stay at your house.
Exactly.
But let's go back to that. So again, let's just say Jalen Hurts bad is probably still better than Carson Wentz last year, right? Because of the extra thing he can do in his, I think his legs are going to get him out of some of the things that Carson Wentz couldn't with his extra weight and just him not running the same.
I do think there is a scenario where Hurts could be the worst quarterback in the league. It's not crazy to think that he is. I know. I
Daniel Jones is still in this league.
I know. I just like we haven't seen him be a good passer yet. Like it just hasn't happened, right? So like, what if he gets worse at passing than he's been? Like again, like I think there's so much variance right now. Like there's so many different things that can happen. But I do think there's a middle ground. Like if I was to put my finger on the button and say like, what's the most likely scenario right now? I'd probably say they're like 20th ranked, like around what they were last year, 20th ranked offense, and they have a pretty good defense, and they finished around 7-8 wins.
Let me ask you this.
But I don't know yet.
All right, just to finish my point. All right, so let's just say, right? I mean, the worst quarterback in the league is pretty bad. Again, what he might mess up with missed time and reads and stuff, just his legs in general is going to keep him as a better leader and player as some other quarterbacks who are just trash and have no it factor. You know what I mean? Have no drop back. And because look, for only playing 3.5 games, right? He has some super highlighted plays. Now he also only had 52% completion percentage, right? That was where a lot of people say he can't pass, but a lot of people who have that completion percentage doesn't have the fourth down touchdown to Greg Ward, the deep ball to Deshaun Jackson, the 4th and 15 or 4th and goal back shoulder fade to Alshon, with a guy hitting him. So what I'm saying is, I think he's always going to have that up and down stature, but the ups are going to be high. The downs might be high, but there's going to be players out there who have downs that are super high and ups only mediocre. But just to finish it off, I do see a scenario where the Eagles can come out stumbling and win maybe 6 or 7 games. I don't see anything less than 5 because of how bad last year was. Not only I don't see Nick Sirianni being that bad of a play caller, I don't see him negating the run. I don't see the injury bug being there. And our defense, no matter if Jonathan Gannon calls a blind defense, is physically better. Just look what we upgraded. We turned Jalen Mills into Anthony Harris. We turned Vinny Curry into Ryan Kerrigan. We turned Nathan Gary into Eric Wilson. And last but not least, the unknown shadow that was cornerback 2 is now Steven Nelson. So just the defense and just running, coaching, quarterback, it gotta account for at the least 2 or 3 more wins. So I see us as, at worst case, like a 6-win team.
Yeah, it's the Hurts health thing. Like like if Joe Flacco has to start games for this team, like they're not going to move the ball. Like it's just not going to happen. And that's a scenario I'm thinking if they do finish, like if they finish less than 5 wins, because Hurts isn't healthy. If Hurts stays healthy for 17 games, they're gonna win. They're gonna be in ball games and they're gonna win. It's just how good can they be? It kind of has like this Teddy Bridgewater factor to it. Like like he's always gonna keep you in games. He's always gonna be there. But what's the ceiling kind of thing, right? Like what is Hurts' ceiling? I don't know. But like if I was to take a guess, like right now, like he hasn't flashed that he has star potential. Like it's just how high can that ceiling get? And if I had to guess right now, like it's around like the 20th best quarterback in the NFL. And how good can that break? How good that can get? How good can that get you? How good can the defense be? Like there's so much question marks. Like I'm kind of going into the season with just like kind of no expectations kind of thing, right? Like you just the unknown.
Well, I can never. I'm a gambling man, and I try to stay away from the Eagles when they're good or bad because I try to keep my money from my heart, my pocket from my wallet, from my heart. And I try to go with my head. Now there are times where I know the Eagles are going to win when they were really good, and I think we're going to have some games. As people in the chat are saying, you got to understand we got a 4th place schedule as well.
That's true. Third worst schedule or 3rd easiest schedule in the NFL according to BetMGM right now. So that
definitely plays a part. But this is 100%. What I want. This is what I'm saying about Jalen Hurts. What I need to see from him is consistency, right? I need to see that consistency. But star potential is the highlight reel plays are there. I've seen highlight plays from him last year, but the reason I still have to see more is because I saw low lights. But what I'm saying is a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, right, is going to be more even keel. Like his good games, he just protected the ball. His bad games, he didn't protect the ball. Where Hurts might have games where he's up and down, new system, new team, new things. He's going to have games where he does that, back-to-back games. He's the first quarterback in NFL history to have his first 2 starts, 500 plus yards, over 150 rushing yards, and 3+, all that stuff. And that just shows that there's upside. What the coaching staff and this team has to surround him with is enough talent and coaching to keep the upside there and the low side be consistent. You know what I mean? So that's what I always say when people say Hurts is a bad quarterback. I say, why? Because he's a 52% completion percentage. We don't know if he can read defense.
I don't think anyone could know. I don't think anyone can have a solid take on how good Hurts is yet. Like it's such an unknown. Like that's what I said last year. Like even if you put him in over Carson Wentz right now, no one knew. Well, after 4 games, still no one knows. That's why I was calling for Wentz to be pulled on the Cowboys Sunday night game. That's 2 games earlier than that. Like that's when I'm like, put in Hurts now, because then we can at least maybe get a taste of how good he is. Like no one can say and confidently say how good Hurts is going to be at. No one has a clue yet. Like he's still so much left to prove. Even like in college when he was great, he was under that Oklahoma offense, right? You can kind of nitpick when he was great and when he was bad. I still think he's such an unknown. And that's why this season is so exciting, kind of just a breath of fresh air to walk into, because we could walk into kind of anything. And it wouldn't be bad because we're kind of set up nice for the future.
True. I definitely like, and the future is only brighter if you have a guy that you believe in. And
Exactly.
I don't think he has to crack top 10. I think if the Eagles concede top 12, top 14 quarterback out of him, first of all, if he's the top 15 quarterback, you're on the right track, being only a second-year player. But shout out to Joey Z with the $5 banger. He said, if the Eagles only keep 6 receivers, do you think they keep Fulgham or J-Jaw? I really want the full GOAT to come out and earn his spot in this next game. Listen.
So I think you keep I think it's Smith, Rager, Watkins. I think Greg Ward's going to get a spot. I think Fulgham deserves a spot too. And then it's if you keep 5 or 6. I think it's Hightower and J-Jaw. You pick between one of them.
Who do you think?
I would keep 5. Like I don't think you need to keep 6. I don't think there is a need to have JJ Arcega-Whiteside or John Hightower on the roster. Do you? Like, am I crazy for thinking that? Like, what would J-Jaw bring to the table? Like, what would he do on game day, if that makes sense? Like, is there really a need?
If it does rain, he can hold an umbrella over somebody's head.
But like, that's my point. Like, he doesn't play special teams very well. He blocks well. That's what he does well. But like, you're going to keep a 6 receiver because he can block? No,
but
you know what I mean.
Let me ask you this though, because of the unknown factor at wide receiver, I think there's certain positions that you feel more confident about health wise and certain things, but I would keep 6 receivers, not saying that, Whiteside or Hightower, they're so valuable. But at the end of the day, I think that wide receivers in general, Nick Sirianni say he goes to some 4 wide receiver sets, some different packages. I think you just need to have that versatility there. Like linemen, wide receiver, running back with 17 games, they're the ones that if I have to pick an extra guy, I think you can be okay with linebackers because we're going to be in a lot of packages where we only play 2 linebackers. We're going to be a lot of nickel and dime. Safeties, I would like to keep an extra body.
Like linemen, that's my point. I would rather have an extra D lineman and O lineman than have JJ Arcega-Whiteside on game day. If that I know it's a 6 wide, it's the 52nd guy we're talking about here, so it's not the end all be all. But if I was to put I get the like people think Arcega-Whiteside should make the team just because 2nd round pick and like he's tall. It's just like, what does he do for you on game day? Like that's what you kind of have to, when you're getting down to like the nitty gritty of like your roster, you kind of have to think, what can he bring to the table tonight? And an 8th offensive lineman on game day to me is more important than a 6 wide receiver. That's just kind of my
the offensive line will be my most important because of how our guys are aged up and stuff of that sort. I forgot exactly what I did. I'm not counting. I'm not going to go through, but I was able to have a decent amount of offensive linemen, wide receivers, running backs. I only carried I didn't carry 3 quarterbacks though.
Mm-hmm. No, I would. You only need 2. Like I don't think you need 3. So I agree with that.
But like I said, there's nothing that jumps out for me to keep to swear by John Hightower or JJ. But I'm just saying, if the Eagles go 6, I'm looking at John Hightower with the higher ceiling. Like I said, J-Jaw, I don't know what it is, but I ain't never seen a career just quick go as bad as that. Just the fact that we seen practice wide receivers come up and guys like Deontay Burnett, Greg Ward, who's still here, Rob Davis, Josh Perkins played wide receivers, and they were more productive
Agreed. Yeah.
than JJ. And people say he didn't get a chance. No, he was in the games. Dudes running wrong routes. He was doing things that kept him out, and he was pulling himself out of games. Like I forgot. And again, if there was some personal issues, sorry about that. I don't know, but I didn't hear about that. But I just remember one game where JJ Arcega-Whiteside's walking to Howie Roseman before the game, and next thing you know, he's not playing. Like, bro, you can't have umbrellas. You can't take yourself out of the games. And in games, you can't just not perform and be in Philly. It's just not the city to do it in. It's not the city. You know what I mean? Do that in Cincinnati. It'll be okay for a while. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, he's had a tough career. He's had a tough. I don't think there's any use for him anymore. I think you got to rip the Band-Aid off. I think you got to come in. Like, again, Hightower, what does he do for you as a 6 wide receiver, right? Like, is he going to see the field? Probably not. So
I think he plays special teams. He can punt and kick return if necessary.
I don't know if he does. I don't. I'd have to.
He did it in college.
Yeah. So I don't think Hightower or Arcega-Whiteside see special teams time. So that's why I wouldn't play them. But again, we're talking 52nd guy on the roster here. So it's kind of up to preference as a coach. Like I think he's going to take 6. I wouldn't, but if I was to put a bet on it, I think Arcega-Whiteside makes the team.
Now, yeah, it's crazy. So let me ask you this. Shout out to everybody in the chat though. Like I say, last I saw we had like 60, 70 likes. Get the likes up. We got over 150 people watching. Hit the like button. It's free, it's easy, don't cost a thing. Now listen, if I had to ask you what's going to be better in your eyes throughout the season, the offense or the defense? Not saying the one you don't take is garbage, but what will be the thing that we lead on? What's going to be the stronger point, the total package, the total offense or the total defense?
So I think I'd probably put Jalen Hurts number 1. The second thing I'm looking most forward to this year is Jonathan Gannon. I'm really curious to see how he's going to run this defense. He's an Eberflus and Zimmer disciple, so ton of cover 2 defense. I'm expecting a ton of zone. It's going to look a lot different than the defense we're used to with Jim Schwartz. Like it couldn't be more different. Jim Schwartz is a heavy man-to-man kind of defense. This is like he's going to run a ton of zone, 2 high safeties. It's kind of where the NFL is kind of transitioning to, and I'm excited for it. And I'm really curious to see how he's going to use some of these defensive linemen, like how he's going to use Jayvon Hargrave, how he's going to use Milton Williams, if he's going to use him as a defensive end. Like, what's the defensive line rotation going to look like? I'm way more confident in the defense than the offense. I think this defense has top 10 potential, and I'm confident in saying that. And it's because of defensive line. The defensive line apparently has been dominating camp. Apparently been just dominated this weekend. Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham apparently were tearing apart the Jets' offensive line, causing some problems. So I think there's a really likely scenario where Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, and Jayvon Hargrave, if those 4 guys can stay healthy, there's a chance where that could be the best defensive line of football. I'm not even just saying as a Homer fan or hyping them up. Washington on paper does. There's a couple other on paper do. But if there's a scenario, what if Josh Sweat hits? Like, what if he kind of breaks out into the talent that we all see he has? Like, if he has like a 12 sack season. Jayvon Hargrave apparently has been like the best player on the field in training camp so far. He's been what we paid him $13 million a year for. So I think there's a good possibility that this defensive line hits, and that's like if that hits well, and they have backup the secondary, like they actually have a better secondary talent than they've basically ever had. I was trying to think of when the last secondary like this has been. Like I think you can even go back over 10 years, maybe. I'd have to on paper at least. Who knows how it's going to go play out? But you might have to go back even to the Asante Samuel days to look at a secondary on paper that's looked this good, like Slade, Steven Nelson, Anthony Harris, and if Ronnie McLeod's healthy, that's a really solid 4. It's just there's so many question marks. We don't know how this defense is going to look. Slade's a year older. Anthony Harris is kind of on paper, it looks like a good signing, but we still don't know. He didn't have a really good year last year after being a Pro Bowl level talent. So,
yeah, but nobody did in the Vikings defense.
Exactly. It's true. So I'm more confident in that. I do think there's a better possibility that the defensive line stay healthy and hits than let's say the offensive line and Jalen Hurts hit. That's probably the most what I'm looking for is see how, besides Jalen Hurts, to see what Jonathan Gannon does and how he kind of utilizes these guys. Gotcha.
So everybody in the chat, let me know. Just we don't got to give specifics. I can never say that word, but let me know. Again, just because you pick offense don't mean you think the defense is bad and vice versa. If you had to pick, if somebody said what is going to be better, Tell me right now.
Mhm.
Offense or defense, let me know. But while y'all do that, shout out to Duncan Wright with the $2 super sticker. Appreciate you 100%. Shout out to Birdman951, another Eagles content creator. Go check him out, West Coast Birds. He became a member to the Philly Talk podcast and Solo Bolo. You know it's Eagle season when he gets back in the building. You know, he was one of the guys who hated Carson Wentz, and he used to come in the beginning. I was a defender for a while. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. Solo Bolo made me see the light. I saw a little too late though. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. So we'll see what the chat is saying. But shout out to Joey Z with another $5 banger. He said, "Would you rip the Band-Aid off for Dillard too? Because he has looked bad. Need to get some value for him at least. What is your take on Dillard? Would you try to keep him around to death, or would you be answering the phone as we heard calls were coming in? What is your take on Dillard's future with the Eagles?"
I don't know what you'd get from. Like, you'd probably get like someone else's bad player, like, you know, someone else's like disappointment. So like, it depends what that looks like. Like, kind of, I don't know if this makes sense. Remember the Dennis Kelly, Dorial Green Beckham trade a few years ago? The Eagles maybe got Dorial Green Beckham and we trade Dennis Kelly. Like, kind of like you're trading a player for player swap. I think that's the best you would get, is some sort of like our garbage for your garbage. Like, I don't know if you trade him for a 6th or 7th round pick. I'm of the belief that
he's still a left tackle, right?
Exactly.
Like,
I'm of the belief there's more value in keeping him around this year and then figure it out next year. Kind of just put it away. Like, don't worry about it right now. Like, what value would you get? Like, I don't know if people are running to Howie Roseman offering 5th or 4th round picks right now. I would take the first 4th round pick offer I get. It's probably not happening right now though. Like, why would a team do that? There's no reason to. So you're looking at like a player for player swap. So it depends what that player looks like. I think you keep him around. Like, what he was a 1st round pick. We've seen how banged up his offensive line can get. I know people keep preaching that he's not a swing tackle. Try it out. Like, who knows? Maybe he can hit a tackle if he's in there. Like, I think you just keep him around, and he'll probably have to play snaps for you this year. Like, it's just the way it is with the offensive line injuries, right?
Yeah. So my take is this. I think, he has to get stronger. He has to get stronger. I think he's nimble. I think he got footwork. I think he needs his confidence back. That's one thing. And seeing big Jordan Mailata ain't helping it, but we don't need no soft players over here. But my whole thing is this. A left tackle is a left tackle. And there's going to be a offensive line coach, offensive coordinator who looks at his tape in college, looks at his tape, the little bit he got on there, not on the right side, the left side, and say, there's talent there. I don't know what's going on, this, that, and the third. And also, if Jordan Mailata comes out being that dominant player, well, then you can say then, maybe other teams think, how bad is he? He's just not better than Mailata. If Mailata turns into a top 10, then maybe he's still top 15. And if you look across the National Football League, right, I'm telling you, out of 32 starting left tackles, Andre Dillard won't be 32. I'm not saying he's going to be 15. He might be 26, 25, 27, but there are teams that are desperate for a left tackle, and we saw players leave and get better at that position. The Giants drafted their left tackle. What was his name? Somebody in the chat,
Last year?
No, not last year. There was a giant tackle that the Giants hated for forever. So,
Andrew Flowers?
Yeah, Flowers, right? Eric Flowers.
Eric Flowers,
right?
Eric Flowers, yeah.
But then he goes over to who? Washington, I think.
Miami gave him a bunch of money, right? I can't remember exactly.
He bounced around.
Yeah, someone paid him.
But I think he's on Washington right now, and he's balling, and he's good. I mean,
yeah, he is right now with Washington. He's a guard on Washington. Yeah, I think he resurrected his career in Miami, and then Washington just brought him in. Yeah.
With that being said,
but yeah, exactly. He's young. Like, I agree. I think I think he's too early to give up on, but you don't start him. Like, I think you can put him on the bench now and kind of just take it from there. See what happens.
But looking at the chat, when I asked the offense and defense, there was some offense in here, but I think defense definitely won the battle of the, what would be better? My guy Jalen, a channel member, said that early it will be the defense, be a lot better, but later this season it will be the offense because the D will then fall apart. I mean, I'm hoping not because, listen, if you can rely on your defense, you could do so many things. You can, first of all, winning the time of possession really helps the defense. It helps the run game, helps the quarterback because you're probably using the run game to win time of possession and just all that. But yeah, Eric Flowers. So my whole thing is I don't think the calls will be as disgustingly, 6th, 7th round pick as people think, because I think if you lined up all 32 starting left tackles, there's going to be a handful that Andre Dillard is better. And there's still, people who think, dang, he got potential. This guy is this. We just need Jordan Mailata to ball out. And maybe that's when you realize he's on the bench for a reason, because he got a stud in front of him. Philly Fresh, another channel member or a content creator, he said I would move him to swing guard. What is your take on just having him not play a tackle position and moving him to guard? Do you think that helps his?
It could work. Like he might have to like this year. Like that's why you just put him on the bench and see what happens. I think he could. He's not. I don't know if he's really built for it. Like he's kind of got that left tackle body. I don't know. It's tough to know what to do with the guy right now. I would just wait for an opportunity to come up, and then if he can take advantage of it, do it. But he's clearly not the starting left tackle right now. And I don't know if anyone's gonna no one's running to pay to give you an early day 3 pick or even a day 2 pick. Day 2 pick's out of the question. Maybe you get a 6th or 7th eventually. Who knows? But then I don't know if I do that. I think there's more value to him just on the bench for right now.
Yeah, because look, at the end of the day, I like, and Philly's the city that if you are showing some insecurities, we're going to sniff it out and come at you. But let's be honest, if it's Andre Dillard or Nate Herbig having to play, or Andre Dillard or Matt Pryor, you might say bring AD in, you know what I mean? I just called him AD to make him sound tougher because it sounds good. But yeah, so and I'm on the side of the defense. That's not me sleeping on this offense, because I think the speed is going to kill. And I think we're not really understanding that if all right, Quez is coming up strong, so is Reagor having a great camp. I love it, and I'm grateful. But I think Devontae is 100% all that has been advertised. And I think Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert is going to really reap the benefits of a stud wide receiver that has to get bracket at time, or the best corner, because we've seen best corners go play Zach Ertz. We've seen Zach Ertz get bracketed coverage. We've seen him in post games talk about, listen, I know they're putting their best corner. I know they're double teaming me. Now it's up to the other guys to step up, right? And he always said that with a little bit of in his voice, because he's like, they're not stepping up. I'm catching more balls than them, and I'm getting double teamed. So I think, there's so much that can be done. And if Nick Sirianni is as X's O as he's been saying, there's upside with this offense, this team. And I'm a guy who tries to keep it my exact feelings. I've never said on here yet that we could win double digits. My take was 6 to 9 games. I am seeing more of an optimistic. Maybe it's the season coming. Maybe it's the camp news. I'm seeing more on the higher side, but it's if the things go right. Because there's so much newness to this team. It's like you just created a team on Madden, and it all sounds good, but it got to get put together. But if you have a top 5 offensive line and a top 5 defensive line, you are going to be competitive.
You're going to be in ball games. You're going to win. You're going to win ball games. You're going to be there, and that's basically it. And it sucks to say that. I feel like you say that about a lot of teams, but it means a lot to this team. That it's 100% the right.
Well, think about it.
I want to put it.
Not every team has that though, because there's teams who have top 5 offensive lines, right? But then their defensive line might be 14 or 15, or vice versa. But we legit have a top 5 O-line, D-line if healthy. So that right there will elevate the play of the secondary and the linebackers and the wide receivers and the running backs and the quarterback play. And that's why I'm thinking, it really comes down to the trenches, and that's something that's been doubled down from Andy Reid to Howie Roseman, and it's never the sexy pick, but that's why we have been a team that don't go through long rebuilds. Think of the Oakland Raiders back in the day, the Miami Dolphins before this little stunt, the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions. Where did they suck? Offensive line, defensive line. You can have the fun skill players, but we stay in the trenches, and that's why we might go through a 4-win season, a 6-win season, but within a season or two, we're back over 500, and it's because of the DNA of the Eagles. And right there makes Jalen Hurts and all these young guys who have a lot of pressure jobs easier. Nick Sirianni's job's easier if he can say, let's just run a little outside handoff to Miles Sanders, and because of the push of Lane and Brooke, I don't even got to be that. You still want him to be slick and motion and do design plays, but if you got brute strength, just play to your strength. And I think the run game, because of the healthy offense line to start, is going to be huge for Hurts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Jalen Hurts was actually a really good runner last year. There's a stat called success rate, and it goes to show how much just a positive gain you get on your runs. And Jalen Hurts was top 6, top 7 last year, and that out of 70 guys, he was in the Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, top 3 quarterback and just success rate when it runs. So he was a really underrated runner last year, and that's another thing I feel like is untalked about is how good this run game can be. And I think that's what they have to lean on. They got to lean on Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts in the run game, and then just let it kind of form out from there. If I'm Nick Sirianni, that's kind of what my focus is.
Yeah. Again, and that's not to say that Jalen Hurts can't pass, but as you said, his legs are such a weapon. His throwing on the run is such a weapon. The fact that we have speed backs and receiving backs, as long as Miles Sanders can hold on to the ball, he might get separation, got to hold on to the ball. But Kenneth Gainwell and them, you do have a bruising. If you play that 2-back set, motion, and use Jalen's legs, throw a little bit, it's going to keep a defense off bounds. You know what I mean? And then every once in a while, drop Jalen back in the pocket and let him deliver a strike up the seam, on the sidelines. We were one of the heaviest deep ball throwers last year. And I think we just threw way too many deep balls. There was nothing that was in the middle. We didn't use no dig routes and things of that sort. We definitely didn't get Carson out the pocket, but there is a DNA of this team with the speed at receiver, not having a true X, especially if we go the Quez, Rager, and Smith. We don't got a true X. If we want a big body up there, we got to give it to our tight ends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You got the speed, you got the mobile quarterback who can throw in a run, who has that it factor that can make things happen. You got to use that to your advantage, whether people are going to say in the first 3 weeks, if we're 2-1 in the first 3 weeks and people say, ew, Jalen's only winning with his legs, I'm going to say, well, then beat him. Stop him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to complain. Lamar Jackson won a MVP with his legs, and in that season, because his legs were so dangerous, mm-hmm. he had easy touchdowns. He threw 36, 33 touchdowns because of his legs being a factor. Mm-hmm. Boop, it's too easy. So, as you said, just get him in the right formations and let's see what happens.
Yep, exactly. No, 100% agree with you.
So with that being said, we just hit an hour. Shout out to my guy Brendan for coming on. Like I said, I just followed him on Twitter maybe a couple months ago. He pumps out great stuff, so definitely follow him on Twitter. Follow your boy on Twitter as well. You got any last things to say?
Not much, man. No, thanks for having me on. This is a blast. Really like what you're doing here. You got a good show. Make sure, give me a follow on Twitter. If you don't, check out my podcast, Double Doing Podcast. Shameless plug there. And if you're a fan of Alex Singleton, if you check my Twitter profile, I interviewed Alex Singleton a few weeks back before training camp. Check that out. I wrote an article about his story. He played Canadian Football League for 3 years. He's got a really cool past. So if you want to learn more about him, a guy that could shine this year. So definitely check that out. But yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. This was a good time.
No problem. And like I said, hopefully the season goes more towards our optimistic Eagle fan side. And like I said, I just think, a lot of things got to go bad to get worse than 4. I think, if we only win 6 games, maybe 7 or 6, yeah, the fan base is going to be mad. But I mean, there's still signs. As long as my whole thing is, if because of the draft capital, if certain things come out of this season that we're like, as long as the arrow's pointing up and the trajectory is going up, my main thing is knowing that we got a head coach and we got a quarterback. Mm-hmm. If we have a head coach and a quarterback, whether it's guys getting injured or this, that, and the third, or the bad luck of the bounce where we lose 4 close games or something like that, I want to go out this season knowing we got some of that stuff and then we can start solidifying our future. But hey, shout out to you for coming on. Greatly appreciate it, my guy.
Yeah, thanks again, man. Anytime.
With that being said, I'm probably going to stay on and answer some more questions for a little bit. So, I'll let you go, Brendan.
Appreciate good, you. Man. Yeah, have me on again one time, man. This was a good time.
Definitely. What is going on, everybody? Let's get some of these questions. And shout out to the 145 people still in the chat. Let's go. I want to rock out with you guys for a little more. It's 8:30. You know what I mean? I'm still trying to talk some birds. But now let's get to y'all takes. Solo Bolo said 10 wins. Take the NFC East. Hey, yeah, why not? I mean, the Giants, Cowboys, what can go wrong will go wrong. I mean, I think 10 wins is a pretty good mark for who takes the NFC East. But before we talk a little bit more, we got 91 likes. Do your boy a favor and hit that like button. It's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. We need 9 more likes. Can I get 9 MVPs in the chat to hit that button? Anthony said the Eagles lines have always made it possible for us every year the past 20 years. Yes. And as long as you stay building in the trenches, you'll always be a team that contends for a playoff spot. You'll always be in contention if you have a dominant offensive line or defensive line. David said, when you are on your back during one-on-ones? What? When you are on your back during one-on-one 2 days in a row, it's not a good sign. No, not just beat. Yeah, Andre Dillard has been having a lackluster camp. We know that. That's partly why Mulata gets the start. He's been having a good camp, but even if he was average, it'd be still better than Andre Dillard. So we definitely gonna, see what we can do with Andre Dillard. He's still a left tackle in the league, and there's still probably a handful of tackles worse. I'm from Brandon Lee Gowan. Dillard has done nothing in this summer to earn an Eagles roster spot. Yeah, that's true. Because, he definitely. So is he worse than? I don't know. We got to say. Well, you got to think. Who's our backup left tackle? Who's our backup left tackle if we let go Dillard? Driscoll's the backup right tackle. Who's the backup left tackle? I think last year Matt Pryor played backup left tackle. You want Matt Pryor over Andre Dillard just to play backup? Jonathan said Smith's route running is going to be serving up cornerbacks to the turf monster. Yes, man. Look, I'm biased, of course. I'm an Eagles fan, but look, just use your eyes. What he's able to do out there, you know what I mean? The Jets corners are no good. Don't get me wrong, but this guy was having people grab him to even stay in his vicinity and still get into 2 yards of separation. And then when we played with the Patriots, he didn't get that many good looks from Flacco in the backup offensive line. But boy, was he making guys spin. It's hard to take him. Dev said Toff. Lorenzo Clark said Eric and all that. So, all right. So, if you're cool with Lorenzo Clark being the backup, what has he done that is better than Dillard? I don't know. I haven't really heard much of Lorenzo Clark. He's not even practicing, is he? He's still hurt. I know they activated him or something or put him in pads or they did something, but I didn't see him. I don't think he practiced. If Clark isn't still injured, that's my thing. I think he was injured, to be honest. iShine said if the O-line and D-line stay healthy and Sirianni isn't a puppet and consistently runs the ball each game 20-plus times, we will go to the playoffs. Guaranteed. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, the run game is definitely going to work. I don't just say that to say that Jalen Hurts can't pass the ball, because I do believe he can. But when you have a run game that is successful, it's just going to help out the pass game. And when your quarterback's legs can even help out the run game further the run game, is just too dangerous to use. Marianne said Cowboys thinks because they drafted Kelvin Joseph, Smith won't do anything against them. Yeah, that's crazy. Listen, Kelvin Joseph lined up against Smith 3 times and called an interception in one of them. Okay, Mac Jones, you threw a bad ball. They're crazy. Kelvin Joseph is not even going to start. Anthony Brown is going to start for them. You think J-Jaw makes the roster? I keep hearing he showed up this week. Yeah, that's crazy. He keeps showing up, but they got film of Devontae, Quez, Rager, Goddard. They got film. For some reason, he keeps showing up when the cameras are turned off. Like, I don't know. I don't think he's going to make it. I hope not, to be honest. Dillard said Smith injured twice in camp. Twig snap. Worried? No. Because the first one was an MCL. It is what it is, right? But the second one, he came back the very next day. He actually came back later, so it wasn't that bad. I still want to see him get hit and get up. It's going to be a sign of relief to see, ooh, that was a big one. And he got back up. You know what I mean? Dillard is trash. Clark and Toth got higher ceilings. All right. Eric said, I said it earlier. If Clark proves out, there's no need to keep Dillard. I'll give you that. Sean said, I hope that wasn't Jalen throwing that pass when DS6 killed that guy in the one-on-ones. That pass was late as crap. Now, see, we have her reports that when Jalen does have a bad throw or something, it's because he got the ball out late. That's why I really want to have him play a little bit in the preseason so he can get that time and that game time speed. That game time speed, it goes a long way. But I think Jalen Hurts is in the right mindset. I think he's had a pretty decent camp, a pretty good camp, to be honest. I can't wait. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry, my son came up. Chris said the Jets have a better quarterback than you guys. Jets will win more games than the Eagles. Obviously, this guy is not in the right state of mind. Not in the right state of mind. He said, "You sound worried, Smith." No. I'm not worried. I want to see it. You know what I mean? But listen, look, he played in the SEC, right? So that's the toughest conference. He got hit by guys who are in the NFL. J.C. Horn, NFL. Patrick Surtain, NFL. Trayvon Diggs, NFL. Jabril Cox, NFL. He played in a league where these guys are NFL ready, and he didn't get hurt. He's never missed multiple games. He got hurt in the championship game. Oh, by the way, he had 3 touchdowns already. So I've seen him get hit by NFL caliber guys. Now, let me tell you this. These guys are bigger. The game is faster. They're stronger. I understand that. But I'm not going to say I'm worried, but I'm not going to say that 170 pounds is everyday survival. We've seen guys survive. Deshaun Jackson, Marvin Harrison, Isaac Bruce, guys of that sort survive. But I still want to make sure he's an Eagle. And right now, when you have this on your helmet, somehow the bug gets around you. The bug. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to fake Will. We trying to get out of that. Papa said, put the alcohol down, Chris. Big facts. David said, not me. He's my favorite Bama player ever as a longtime Bama fan. There you go. Joey Z said, Smith is that guy. Snap City said, I'm waiting, Jets fans. Exactly, man. Look, my brother's a Jet fan, so I know about the Jets. I really do. My brother is a Jet fan, and I know he's been sad. Marianne said, I want Dak healthy, though, so we can pummel him. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a different satisfaction when you beat a team when they are healthy. You know what I mean? There's no excuses. As we do this thing, and I'm going to have a lot of NFC East roundtables. Listen, we're going to have a weekly podcast where it's me, the entertainer for the Giants, Ed Oliver for the Washington football team, and Cowboys fan talk for the Cowboys. And it's a different level of satisfaction if we beat the Cowboys with Dak than we beat them with Garrett Gilbert or Cooper Rush or Ben DiNucci, who ain't so Gucci. You know what I mean? It's a different type. Anthony said, we not worried. Desmond, I'm not worried about Smith. He'll be fine. My guy is Michael Jackson smooth. M said, now he tweaking. Papa said, Jets have never, they've never, their whole franchise, their whole time of existence, they never beat us. Never, ever. Never, ever, ever. Ever. Kevin, who? He's not even a starter. Stop. My condolences to him. Yeah, I don't know how. He might be adopted. I don't know. I don't know how he fell so far from the tree. My guy's a Jets fan. He's a Jets Miami Heat fan. What? Do you know the ranting New York Rangers? No, I don't. Joey Z said Zach Wilson was my favorite quarterback in the last draft. I know he's good, but we are a better team overall. Yeah, look, I'm not saying Zach Wilson is going to be bad, but it's going to be, listen, it's going to be very interesting to watch these quarterbacks play. I'm talking about Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, and Zach Wilson. It's going to be very interesting to watch their careers and see who legit has the better team. No, I never seen. No, I'll have to check it out. You see Kenny G play that smooth jazz? Yeah. Kenny G's going to put in some work. Landon Carey, what's going on with you? Snap City said, that's what I said. The Jets have never beaten us. How many number 1 draft picks are they going to get before they do get a dub? I'm with you. Jet fans love the wrong green team. Yeah, man. But it's always good to beat up on a New York team, whether it's the Jets, whether it's the Giants, which I'm looking forward to playing twice. You know what I mean? A Diller said breaking news: Eagles versus Jets game moved to Monroe Township High School to fill the stands. Dang. Andre Dillard, man. You got to worry about trying to get a left tackle job, my guy. I'm just kidding. JH said, don't feel bad, Mike. I live in a family of cowgirls and a football team fan, but I still rock my birds. Hey, shout out to you. I'm glad you fell far from the tree. You know what I mean? But see, that's crazy because my family is all Eagle fans, really, except for my brother. I don't know why. But low key, you know, if low key, he's a great Jet fan. Like he really is into football. But because I'm his big brother and he always looked up to me, and he low key likes the Eagles. I don't care what he says. You know, he's came to a lot of Eagle games. He's been to more Eagle games than he's been to Jets games because he comes with me when I go. That being said, you know, the Jets and the Eagles have nothing against each other. They really barely ever affect each other or play each other. They play once every 4 years in the regular season. So it is what it is. But I still don't like the Jets. But I know he has a soft spot for my Eagles. I'm chilling. It's 8:48. We've been live. First of all, we were live with my guy Brendan. He had to get off in an hour. I figured I'd talk to you guys a little bit more about the Eagles. Let's talk some preseason. Let's talk some blah camp. Let's get some expectations out. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me know? Let me know in the chat. Is it over 100 likes? Is it over 100 likes? Come on, guys. I appreciate you 100%. 105. And shout out to the 3 dislikes. I appreciate you for being a hater. Haterade. Uncle Luke said Smith's separation is crazy for a rookie. He will be a beast. That is facts. There's not many guys who come in that young with that type of footwork. But then Bama boys are different, you know. Jerry Jeudy route runner, Amari Cooper route runner, Calvin Ridley route runner, Julio Jones was a route runner. They just got route runners. Unfortunately, as an Eagle, Jalen Hurts got to prove himself. I say we go 9-7. Hurts ain't the guy. 9-7 is not bad after only winning 4 games and having a whole new system, a whole new everything. 9-7 ain't bad at all. I think you go 9-7. I think Hurts is part of the reason why. I think that, I don't know. We have to see. Again, context is going to be important to see, are we winning because of Jalen or in spite of it? But listen, there's nobody that has that grind, that dog mentality than Jalen. So ultimately, you have to be able to read defense and throw the ball, which I do think he's improved on. He has to go do it, but I am going to give him 100% of my support, and I believe in the kid 100%. I really do. I was the 101st, Brody. Shout out to you. We got some MVPs in the chat. Appreciate it. Marianne said the only Eagle fan in both sides of my family, and I love it. I'm the last one to win a chip. Hold up, wait a minute. And we not finished. Y'all thought we were finished, but yeah, definitely. Listen, I credit every Eagle fan that has family members who are Giants, Cowboys, and Washington fans. I credit you. I don't know how y'all got up out of it, but I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. Mike, your brother is a real fan. He's not a bandwagon fan. He's sticking with his team through the good and the bad. The Jets have been more bad than good, yeah. And he was hurt. Listen, he never thought that Mark Sanchez was the guy. But, I mean, Mark Sanchez got the Jets to 2 AFC championships. I mean, the defense really did it. But he got the 2 AFC championships. My brother was hurt, both of them. It's rough. The Cardinals have owned the Eagles lately. I'll give them it. The Cardinals have beat us up a little bit lately. I ain't going to lie. Nothing to lie about. I honestly feel like this is going to be a close game if Zach Wilson plays like he has. You mean the preseason game or when we play him in a season? I don't care about a preseason game. They probably do. David said, Hurts always proves himself. He will give your team a chance to win. So, David, who do you like with you saying give our team a chance? Anthony said Smith got that 6th sense. He sees haters everywhere. Exactly. But look, listen, a lot of these players are going to come up to him in the season and try to press him. They're going to look across the field and see a small, 170-pound guy, and they're going to come up and try to press him. And when he hits him with that bang, bang, I'm telling you, man, spin cycle, there's going to be a lot of holding being called. They're going to think the refs are cheating for us, but they're not. Solo said hurts the guy until he shows me he's not. That is the mindset everybody should really have. Because if this guy, listen, if reports came out of camp that he was absolutely garbage, we should be worried. But reports are coming out, a couple bad plays here, a couple bad plays there, but the leadership quality is still there. He makes spectacular plays and he's getting better. So why just hate on him? Like why just hate on him? Right now, there's no way for us to get a top 5 quarterback. Deshaun Watson is not guilty yet. You know what I mean? He got to go through some stuff. With that being said, there's no reason why you don't rock with him until he proves otherwise. And if he had a bad camp, I could say, I'm not going to tell you to blindly support a guy. You think I support Ben Simmons? Hell to the no. But I'm telling you, he hasn't given you no reason not to believe in him. Eagle Slayer said, oh man, didn't know you were streaming, man. You got your notifications turned on? I'm saying, like, I've been checking my analytics. I be seeing that the notification game ain't as deep as I thought. I thought we ride or die with it. Just kidding. Jalen Williams said, expect growing pains, y'all. Exactly. You know what I mean? Look, it's cool to have the expectations be 13 wins, 12 wins. And I'm not saying it's 100% not possible. I don't put my money in that territory. But listen, in the NFL in general, when have you saw brand new head coach, brand new quarterback, automatically successful in year one? Where? I mean, listen to this. Whether we like Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz or not, Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz were 7-9 their first year together, right? The next year, Carson Wentz was the MVP if he didn't get hurt, and Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl. So that goes to show they had that potential, but it didn't come out. And then Doug Peterson became a bad play caller. Carson Wentz went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But at the end of the day, look at it. Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid, two successful pairs, didn't do good the first year. You know what I mean? It's hard for a brand new coach and brand new quarterback together on the first year to just be super successful. So do expect some growing pains. That's not to say that they're bad. You just want to see the coaching not be a problem. Coaching quarterback, you want to see not the reason why we're losing. And then the trajectory is pointing up with a lot of draft picks. One Tree Rock in the building. What's going on? Eagles content creator right there. Go definitely check him out. Julio Ortiz says, my team is the Eagles because I'm from Philly, so I'm a Philly fan in every single sport. Love it. I love it. At 46, my bucket list is done. Super Bowl 52 took my last brick off my back. Now we're only one of only 4 teams to win it all in all 4 sports: MLB, ML, NBA, NHL, and NFL. Hey, shout out to you. Appreciate it. That's cool, though. You know what I mean? I know people who were, getting up there in age, you know what I mean? Being an Eagle fan, we went through a lot of tough tribulations, but it's good we came through. Mike always keep it a beam. Much respect. You already know my guy. Victory said my sister is the Giants fan, but she's a half sister, so it don't really count. Dang, that's messed up. You better hope she's not watching this. She gonna get at you. You know what I mean? I'm optimistic. 10-7. I'll take it. I'm the only Eagle fan in my family. Heck, I'm the only one that watches pros. Hey, so you got a family that watches a lot of college football? Eric said, my dad is a Jets fan because of Joe Namath. Yeah, man, that's how long it's been. And my aunt is a Chief fan. Yeah, your aunt got it going on right now. I don't mean like that, but your aunt in her sports cheering got it going on because the Chiefs not only are been good for the last couple of years, but as long as they're healthy, they're going to be a team that's competing for the next 3 to 5, unless something crazy goes wrong. Smitty disrespected Stingley last year. That just shows. And Stingley, the LSU corner is going to come out there already legit. Already. Philly wanted Wentz to win, but he stunk. Yeah. I try my best not to bring him up, to be honest, but sometimes it's just the situation. Be whatever that word is. In North Dakota, anything Eagles we had in this little town is going through whence grew up here, not the States. Hate Eagle fans. I hear you. Chris is back here. Let me give him his little limelight. Tom Brady, the GOAT, did it. That's a fact. Keep hating on Tom Brady and keep winning. Okay. We beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Yes, he beat us, but we beat him. We were the last ones to beat him, so I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Let it keep winning. That just goes to show if the Falcons play them, cool. Loss. Rams, loss. Eagles, dub. We got the dub. Can't take that away. Y'all killing me. But listen, we got 123 in the chat. We going to keep this. Let's go 5 more minutes. So it's an hour and a half. We'll stop at an hour and a half. Solo Bolo said opinions on Wallace. Oof. I'm not fully off the Kayvon Wallace train, but I mean, he got to show me something. I mean, now we starting to see the injury bug stick to him. Does a lot of talking. I mean, look, I guess he was showing some flashes against Cam Newton and the Patriots joint practice, but this guy is calling Cam Newton check down Cam. Check down Cam. What's up? Check down Cam. Check down Cam. If I'm Cam Newton, I'm looking over at Kayvon Wallace like, bro, you a backup. Bro, you a backup that never even did nothing in the league. I might be a backup now because Mac Jones playing pretty good, but I was a former MVP, bro. Kayvon Wallace got to do more playing. I love my guys to talk, but I need my talkers to do a lot. I don't care if a guy like Fletcher or Brandon Graham is talking. You know what I mean? I don't care if a guy like Lane Johnson is talking, but not letting no sacks happen on the right side. But Kayvon, man, look, I had high potential. I thought he had potential, and I still don't think he's done. But to me, he's a box safety. I don't really like him in coverage. I think he's a box safety, and I got to see more from him. But it's definitely not the dog I thought we were getting from Clemson because his mouth has not equaled his play. Birds all day. Brian Dawkins back. Facts. Mac Jones will have the best season, in my opinion. Ooh, taking him over all the other quarterbacks. Joey Z said, I'm from Tampa. Everybody used to hate Brady until he came here. Bandwagons. Yeah, well, I mean, you hate a guy that's always winning until he's winning for your city. At least they stayed Bucks fans until he got there. Birdman 951, new channel member, content creator. Go check him out, West Coast Birds. I just went inside a bar and told him that I'm a member of Philly Talk Podcast. Where's my beer at? Those are some of the perks, right? Yeah. Tell the bartender to say, look, here, I'm gonna send you my Cash App. Tell him to send me the bill. Got you. That's a member perk. You get drunk. What happened to Jacoby Stevens? He's not injured no more, right? Like we heard him making some strides, then he got hurt. And when he came back in, they were like, nope, you're done. But remember, he was making strides before Alex Singleton got back on the field and stuff like that. So I don't know. Jacoby Stevens did fall apart. Cam Newton called Wallace glitter because he's cheerleading on the sidelines. There you go. Yeah, I forgot he did say that. Like I'm saying, you calling this man check down Cam and you're not even on the field, bro. If I'm Cam Newton, I'm calling him glitter or something, but I'm also like, okay, I'm checking down. When are you going to check in the game? Yeah, I mean, I might be checking that ball down, but when are you checking in? You know what I mean? Like, I got to see more play than talk. It's as simple as that. Richie MC said, Philly Mike just got here. How was the wedding? You do a toast? Oh, listen, for those who don't follow me on Twitter, just follow your boy on Twitter. Listen, if you don't have a Twitter, get a Twitter because anything that pops off NFL, it's all over Twitter before any Eagle content creators get to come on here and talk the talk. So you get to talk to me behind the scenes and just, see all Eagle stuff ASAP Rocky. You know what I mean? However, I posted two pictures. I posted two pictures and it was my kids. And I said, little Philly Mikes. and they were all dimed out in the suit, tie, vest, all that good stuff. I didn't post my picture. And I was gonna actually post it on Twitter and post it in the community post. Maybe I'll still do that. But little Philly Mikes were looking fresh to death. But I enjoyed the wedding. You know, y'all were clowning me when I jumped on Gate Cities Live for a little bit. Wallace is acting like Mills. Yeah, but see, look, and Mills got beat, but Mills still was able to start. Mills still had some plays. Like, look, let's not forget that play against Julio Jones, whether it was pass interference or not, I don't know, not team. You know, Mills did have some good plays, but yeah, he got beat by double teams, and you know, he would get beat all game and get one tackle and do the little finger wag. But Kayvon Wallace, he gotta do something. Mike, I told y'all to name one thing Wallace does be level compared to the rest of the NFL. I think he's a good blitz and safety. He had a hefty amount of blitzes, sacks in Clemson his last year or his last 2 years. Not hefty like when you compare linebackers and defensive line, but he was one of the best blitz and safeties, and I think he can still offer you that. I think he's good downhill against the runish, and he can blitz. I don't really like him in coverage. I really don't. Not thus far. Love Mike said Mills was a good player for being drafted in the 7th round. Yeah, I mean, listen, a 7th round player that had as long of a career in Philly and now playing for the Patriots, you could only be proud of yourself. I mean, does he got things he has to work on? Of course. And he got beat a couple times or a lot of times, but 7th round pick, he definitely came up from what he was. Vic said, I heard the Patriots fans want Jalen Mills to change his name. They don't think he's fooling. Oh, change his hair. Yeah, yo, Jalen Mills is keeping the Green Goblin hair. He's keeping the Green Goblin name, but he's also keeping the green hair. He's like, bro, Patriots, I'm behind you, but I can't change my hair. This is who I am now. I heard Stevens made a play today in camp. Oh, wow. I got to look up. I really didn't go through all the camp notes. I didn't go through all the camp notes like I normally do. So I was hoping that my co-host at the time would, or my guest, I should say, I was going to break down some notes, but I didn't really go through the notes like I wanted to. I'll drop a video tomorrow, and I don't know. But, yo, listen, the season's coming, and your boy's going to be doing live play-by-plays, a lot of different things. So, definitely, if you haven't hit the notification bell, hit the notification bell because we're going to be dropping content. We're going to be collabing. Hey, me and LB have a podcast coming out that's not going to interfere with Battlebirds podcast. Listen, me, Gate, and Fresh are going to be going live an hour before every single game. So we are going to do Battlebirds podcast will be the pregame, meaning come there. All three of us will be live on our channels, and we'll be talking about the game that we're going to watch. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Then when we get off that, I will be going live for the play-by-play with the scoreboard and doing the play-by-plays. But every Friday, which is 2 days before the Eagles play, me and LB will be doing a podcast together. It's going to be one time on his channel, one time on my channel, one on his, one on mine, one on his, one on mine, one on his. And last but not least, I will have an NFC East podcast where it's going to be me, a Giants fan, Giants content creator, Washington, and Cowboys, and we're going to do that. So that's going to be my podcasts. Battlebird podcast, me and LB got one, and an NFC East roundtable. And in between them, we're going to be dropping videos about the Eagles going, wow, they're shocking the world, 2-0 to start the season. But now, real talk, if the Eagles in their first 6 games are 3-3, I'm super excited. You might say, what? 3-3 and you're super excited? Yes, because 2 of them 6 games are the defending Super Bowl champs and the Super Bowl champs. So, you know, I'm not saying there's no physical way we can win, but I do kind of doubt it until I see how this team goes. So that means we would go 3-1 the rest of the way, because I'm giving 2 losses to the Chiefs and Bucks. Not saying it's 100% done, but yeah, no. Listen, during the season, I normally used to go live 2 or 3 times before Sunday, maybe 4 times a week while doing videos. So I'm just gonna send me going live by myself. I got one with LB, one with BBP, but the BBP and the actual live play-by-play are on the same games, same day. So it'd be like we play at 4:00. At 3:00, I'm live with Gate City and Fresh. Then at 3:50, when it's almost game time, I get off, start the next one, and then we do that. Sundays are always filled. But back to what I was saying. 3-3 is crazy. I almost totally forgot because I just got another text message. I got to get up off here soon. But 3-3 is great because then you got the Raiders, the Broncos, the Lions, the Chargers, the teams that are beatable. So if we come out the first 6 weeks 3-3, there's like a 4 or 5 game window where we can go off a nice 4-1, 3-1, 3-2. And then if you go 3-3 and then you go 4-1, that's 7-4. And I like it. So that's my big thing. My brother lives in Swarthmont, Pennsylvania. Good luck to your Eagles. God bless. There you go. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do is talk a little nice. We got you. Mike staying busy. Hey, shout out to y'all for keeping me busy. Marianne said, I still think Sirianni wants a more polished quarterback. He thought he was coming to Philly for Wentz. Yeah, well, although I do blame a lot on Doug Peterson and injuries, Carson Wentz wasn't so polished. We got to see. I think he's going to be able to work fine with Jalen Hurts. Does he have some things he has to improve? Of course. I won't sit here and tell you he doesn't, but I do think he's a guy who's going to work as hard as anybody else. And I do think he has some it factor in him that you really can't teach. We'll see. Richie says sometimes NFL draft picks just do not work out. You see that Taco Charleston Dallas first round pick the same year as Barnett did not make it past the second 80-man roster cut. JJ and Diller gots to go. And I agree. They're not worthy. Smith will demand a couple pair of eyes on him, freeing up other wide receivers. And let's not forget that Zach Ertz's last 3 years, Zach Ertz for the last 3 or 4 years, he was the one that got double teamed. They double teamed Zach Ertz. They bracket covered Zach Ertz. If you do have a stud, well, we do know we do. But when we have the stud out on the field in Devontae Smith, it's going to free up the tight end like we've never seen it before. It's going to free up Quez. Quez is going to have a third or second corner on him. Maybe a fourth because maybe one of the corners plays Zach Ertz who spread out wide or some crazy stuff. Like I'm trying to tell you, this team, don't sleep on us. LC coming in. Shout out to my guy. Shout out to what you do with the youth football players. You know what I mean? Get them right. We're going to need to invest some of these draft picks on some of the young guys you training up. So train them up. Get some O-line and D-line players. No, I'm just kidding. He said, I'm late as football practice finished late, but Philly Mike, what's good, bro? And listen, we're going to be doing a live call-in soon, so stay tuned. I want to hear what y'all say, and I would really like if some of the guys who haven't called in, because we got some of the same callers, we once in a while have some new callers, but definitely come through and talk your talk. Nina said, I'm late to the party, but I'm here. Can't wait for September 12th. Let's go. Yes. And shout out to everybody. Nina is one of the hardest working Eagle supporters, whether it's Twitter, whether it's checking up on the content creators. Appreciate you for coming through. But if you haven't turned on post notifications, definitely turn them on. Anthony Perry said, all I want number 2 for the Colts to do is play long enough for us to get that third first round pick. That's all I'm asking for. Hey, Carson, do me the honors. Do me the favor. Just do it. I highly doubt that Nick Sirianni took this job without having a quarterback already on the roster. Yeah, well, maybe he thought it was Wentz, not Hurts. Who knows? They can't double anybody no more because of Smitty. Facts. I think the first 6 games are hard. Big facts. That's why if we go 3-3, I'm chilling. If we go if the Eagles go 3-3 in the first 6 games, then we're winning the division. I'm dead serious. If the Eagles go 3-3 in the first 6 games, I don't care if the Cowboys are 4-2 in them. I don't care if a team is 5-1, because their schedule gets harder as ours gets easier. And I'm telling you right now, if the Eagles go 3-3 to start the season, we win the division. You heard it here first. M said YouTube. I don't know what that means. Richie said Jets game on Friday, starting quarterback Nick Mullins. Is that a fact or your guess? Don't scare me like that. Marianne said ATL offense, not a pushover. They are loaded. Yeah, listen, Calvin Ridley is a problem. And although we're hearing reports that Kyle Pitts is getting locked up by once upon a time Eagles second round cornerback, Eric Rowe, who got torched by the Eagles in the Super Bowl, I still won't 100% write him off. But the Falcons defense is going to be a great test for this speed offense that we have. First of all, we're going to be in Mercedes-Benz Stadium where that turf is easy to get loose. Talk about the turf monster that DBs are going to have when they go up against Devontae Smith. They're going to have that there. With that being said, I'm interested to see how this Eagles offense responds to a very beatable defense in Atlanta. Which King says, Trash Bumside said getting cut along with Jaquette, a.k.a. Burnt Toast and Diller, a.k.a. Sharman. Now, I know he said Mr. Softy, but I just thought of it when I was reading that. So I've been begging for 2-back sets. Let's go. That is probably going to be a heavy package we use for the simple fact that not only get you 2 running backs on the field that can that we can utilize their speed, but it just makes Jalen Hurts that much deadlier to guard. When you have a quarterback who can run the ball, 2 running backs that can run the ball, which way are they going to go? Which way did they go? Which way did they go? Did they hand it off? Did they pass it? Is it a quarterback design run? Is it a running back design run? Is there 2 blockers for the quarterback? Is they going to throw a quick slant to Devontae Smith or Quez Watkins who's going to take it to the house? It puts the defense in a very tough situation. Very tough situation. David said, thanks for your podcast. I really like it. Philly Mike. Yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in because really, if without you guys, I'm just be doing this talking to myself. I'll be like, hey, Philly Mike, what do you think about the Eagles? Well, I actually think the Eagles are going to be pretty good. Well, what about, I'm just going to be talking to myself. So it's really all because of y'all. And I've been doing this for only 2 years and I greatly appreciate all your love and support. Let's go. The like button is the best way to do it, though. A lot of people say, why do people want the likes? It's the best way to get this podcast out so we can get new eyes on it. You know what I mean? That's how you get the Dave Spaderos and the Zach Bermans and the Davion Taylors and the Sean Bradleys. Trayvon Grimes was supposed to get on my channel and then he got hurt and then he never responded back. I think he was kind of sad. It is what it is. Hey, shout out to him. Hopefully he has a good career. I don't wish nothing on nobody. Mercedes-Benz has an ugly color turf. Yeah, it's a speed demon turf. LC said, how do we feel about the safety position? Injuries seem to be killing us over there. Yeah, the safety position is not so loaded when you look at the depth. I mean, Andrew Adams, Marcus Epps led the team in interceptions last year, but I'm not excited about him. And Kayvon Wallace is doing too much of this and not playing. So behind Ronnie McLeod and Anthony Harris, we're very vulnerable there. I wouldn't mind getting a depth piece, a veteran guy who's been in the league for 5 or 6 years, 3 to 5 years at safety. But if we can stay healthy and Ronnie McLeod comes off this injury pretty good, I really like the safety tandem. First of all, Ronnie McLeod and Anthony Harris played together in college. McLeod was a senior. He was a freshman. They didn't play much, but they know each other. And I just like their styles of play, how it blends. I think that's low key a very underrated tandem if we get the right Ronnie McLeod back because he was playing his best football before he got hurt. Shine said, I feel like Derek Barnett going to snap this year. He needs to. He's playing for a contract. But as everybody keeps trying to point out that Derek Barnett is playing for a contract, they low-key forget that so is Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat came out a year after, but Derek Barnett is getting the 5th-year option as Josh Sweat can't get the 5th-year option because he was a 3rd-round pick or a 4th-round pick. Eagle has landed. Say, Mike, who you taking for the now and future? Smith, Watkins, Rager, or Cooper Lamb Gallup? Why you gotta do me like this? Oh my God. This is really rough. Then now you have to go to the Cowboys. You got to, just because of what Lamb and Gallup has already proven to do. CD Lamb was a problem last year, and I think he got better. We haven't seen Smith and Watkins and Rager were on the team last year, but we just didn't see what we wanted to see from him. Now Watkins looks like a different player. Rager looks more motivated, but I still got to see what Rager can do before I call him a different player. Smith just looks like he's going to come in and be that dominant receiver that can't get stopped. Like CD Lamb was a problem last year. I think Smith is going to be a problem. Now, the future, Lamb is going to be getting older. I mean, not Lamb. Cooper's going to be getting older. I don't even think Dallas can retain Gallup. So he's going to might be off the books. But I got to say this, and I can't not say it, because when CD Lamb went to the Cowboys, I was very upset. And I've said that CD Lamb was going to be the best wide receiver in that draft. And although Justin Jefferson had a better year, I still think CD Lamb is the better receiver, for the simple fact that CD Lamb can do some crazy things. He's already had some crazy catches. And I think if he was asked to be the volume guy or had more opportunities because Michael Gallup or something is going, I honestly think this year, CD Lamb is going to have a better season than Cooper and Gallup. I think CD Lamb is going to be the Cowboys' number 1. Cooper will be their number 2. Gallup will be the 3, and then Gallup will be let go next year. This is a tough one. I'm going to take my ego bias and go future with us, because Gallup won't be there. Cooper will be older, and Lamb will still be balling, but so will Smith. But that's tough. You just made my brain hurt with that one. Brandon said, would you be okay with Douglas reunion? He just got signed by the Texans, so he's off the market. Shout out to Philly Take with RB. You got a Sixer stream or an Eagle stream going? Philly Take with RB. That's my guy, too. Let's go. LC said, I was excited to hear Fulgham's name at practice. Finally. Yeah, listen, I don't think Fulgham could have been as bad enough to get kicked off the team with JJ Arcega-Whiteside still around. I don't think he could, but it's good to see his name get called. We got to understand that I think this guy's a little just inconsistent. He can't be that go-to guy that you want, but if he's coming off the bench, I mean, there's not going to be much tape on him, and in his limited snaps, maybe he can make a catch or two going up there and grabbing it. So I'm interested to see what he can put out there. But by trade, I'm not trading for Rasul Douglas, because I'm not giving up capital for a guy that we just could have had for free. We just could have paid him. You know what I mean? If we didn't sign him where it's just money that is being wasted and he didn't get signed for a lot, there's no way we're trading him for him. But I hear you. They might franchise tag. That's a good one. Why not franchise tag him? Still, if you franchise tag him, you're paying him pretty decent money, right? And then if he balls out on a franchise tag, you got to pay him a hefty salary. So I think best case scenario is to try to offer during the season, before the 3rd or 4th game, try to offer Jordan Mailata a 2-year extension for $9 million per year. And then give him the guarantee that you will give him more if he plays up to par. If he doesn't, well, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I would extend him before the 4th game. If he is not as good as we think, well, then you still didn't spend too much money. But if he is, you got him on 2 years to save up to pay that man 15, 16, 14 million a year. Jocktail, what's going on with you, my guy? Chilling. I'm about to get off, actually, because I said I was going to get off 18 minutes ago. Could we pick up Will Parks if we have... Listen, I was never on the side of getting rid of Will Parks. I thought he should have got more playing time last year. I didn't like how he was used in this Jim Schwartz defense. So I'm with it. I'm all about that. Eric, shout out to you, my guy. Appreciate you for coming through. I don't think Benvenucci can throw it to a CD. I don't think so either. Jock said, I keep saying they need to extend Mailata and Goddard now before they get expensive. Yes, let's not forget Dallas Goddard who will be a true free agent next year too. So these are both guys you got to extend, and I think you can get them on a cheaper contract. Now, Mulata's camp might say, nah, man, let's bet on yourself. But right now, Mulata's making $850,000 this year. $9 million is not a lot for a left tackle who's a fringe top 10. 15, 16 is where it should be. But if he bets on himself and doesn't get it, he may not even get $9 million. So I think if you try to give him an $8 to $9 million deal for 2 years, knowing that he can get more at 3, 4, 5 years from now, I think he'll do it. Yeah, I said Jocktail. I don't know what. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know why I said Jocktail. Jock Talk, my guy. Appreciate you. But listen, we still got 100 people in here. If you haven't done it, smash the like button. It's greatly appreciated. Also, turn post notification on so when I go live, y'all can come through and chill out with your boy from the get-go. But I got to go. Until next time, y'all know what time it is. Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all know what time it is, right? Do we really know what time it is?
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking Sixers in the Bird Gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, we showing up and we gon' fight. You see, we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.